that my knee is underneath his elbow right here. So I'm going to slide my knee to his ear. I'm going to do it on both sides. So I'm going to get my knee and slide it to his ear while keeping my weight on top of him. All right, I'm going to do it to the other side. My knee goes to his ear. And notice, just naturally, I grab the back of his head to help me pull myself closer to him. So I'm going to knee to the ear like this. And I'm going to start rotating. But notice my chest and my waist stay over his chest the whole time. So here, knee to ear. Oh, you see how that extends his arm? And now, without falling off to the side, keeping my weight on him, I shift this leg over. Notice it's not like a step over where I'm alleviating pressure. I kind of kick it all the way over. And now I have this nice S mount right here. And what's nice about this is now I have this hand to kind of push this away. So if he tries to bring these legs up here, I'm like, no, I'm keeping this down. Now, his arm is isolated. Both of his arms are isolated. So I'm going to take advantage of this by hugging this arm really nice. If I had a gi, I would grab my gi, but right now, just hugging it's really nice. He's not going anywhere. I'm going to post on the mat so that way I can lean on my body weight. It's not comfortable. I'm going to drag my leg across his face. I am not going to step over. I'm going to drag my leg across his face, knee to knee, foot to foot, and I can even finish this arm bar right here. But I'm going to drop down, pinching my knee still, keeping my waist very close to his armpit. I'm going to chase the pinky, which remember means I'm just following. If his pinky's this way, I'm moving it that way. If his pinky's this way, I'm moving it that way. But most of the time I just straighten his arm, pinching my knees. Again, this is the braking mechanism where the fulcrum is my hip. The fulcrum's going against the weakest part of his the weakest part of his arm, which is his elbow. Strongest part of my body, my hips, going against the weakest part of his isolated arm. Grabbing the end of the lever arm, right? And I'm applying pressure down. Remember, just like I talked about in the last video, if my knees are wide, look how far down I can put his arm because the fulcrum is low. I need to make sure I'm pinching my knees. So if I have this right here, watch what happens just by pinching my knees. You see, because I'm raising the fulcrum. And this is what happens when we see a lot in MMA, right, is they have wide knees and crossed feet. I usually don't cross my feet. I just smash right down on his face, pinch my knees, finish. Okay? So now let's do that from the other angle. Yes. So, right here, he's staying tight. I can't get the Americana. So what do? Is I go right to my S-mount armbar. So I get my knee to his ear. I shift without alleviating weight on him. Notice my chest to my hip is going straight through his chest. His arm's isolated. I hug his arm. I post right here on the mat. I drag across his face. If I were to step over, not only am I creating space between him and me, but he's also going to have an option to start defending and making this difficult. So what I do is as I have this pinched his head pinched between my knee and my foot here in this S-mount, is I'm going to drag my leg across of his face, leaving no room, keeping my knee to knee, foot to foot, and as I fall down, you see how my hip stays very close, and I can finish that arm bar. If I were to get in here, and I see this a lot, is people try to get an arm bar where they step over, and as they move, you see how far away my hip is from his armpit, and now I'm not on his elbow at all. I'm not on his elbow at all. Like the fulcrum is way too far away, and I won't finish an arm bar like this. So what the S-mount allows us to do is move our hips to the armpit. So that way, as I drag this and I fall back, my hips get to stay right there. And let's talk about this again. If I have wide knees right here, look at the fulcrum is low. I want to pinch my knees, raising the fulcrum, going to the end of the lever arm to apply the most effective pressure. As I lift my hips, pull this down, knees stay pinched for that S-mount armbar. So now it's just a little bit quicker. Americana, couldn't get it, right? So I grab the back of his head, knee to the ear, foot to the other ear, not alleviating pressure, hugging the arm, posting, dragging. I could finish this armbar from right here. I'm gonna fall back to get full mechanics to get the S-mount armbar. Okay, so let's do a quick recap of the main takeaways from that S-mount armbar. So go ahead and lay on your back, head over here please. Go ahead, let's scooch down this way. Good. So key takeaways. right? I need to keep my weight on top of him. So as I bring my knee, whichever one I decide, as I bring my knee up to his ear, I'm still keeping my weight centered on his chest. Watch how as I transfer this over, I keep my weight centered straight down my chest to my hips to his chest. It's going to be one line of pressure. So, boom, right? And that's how I start to isolate, squeezing his head between my knee and my foot right here. And it's horrible for him. And as I lean in and apply pressure, he's just miserable because I'm crushing his diaphragm and gut right here, and I'm pinching his shoulders, and like everything feels like you're being crushed. And that knee to knee, foot to foot, dragging across his face for this arm bar. So now we have one way of isolating the arm, this is Americana. The other one using my legs right here to isolate the upper body. Now I'm going to do one more from the side, please. Americana, which we already talked about. Now S-mount, knee to the ear, foot to the ear, right here. Posting, hugging, right? Knee to knee, foot to foot. Okay, but the reason I was showing it that way, a little bit sloppier, is I was focused on my chest and my hips, staying pressure, heavy pressure on top of them. Okay, so one more time. Now I'm going to go the other way. Now I'm going to try to do everything without talking, just so you guys can see it. One more on the other side. Perfect.
What are you doing?